Welcome to this Windows in Computer channel. And hey, it's kind of an anniversary. It's 10 years of Google Chrome. September 2nd, 2008. Google Chrome was released to the world, and it's hard to believe how they changed over time. So this is what it looked like at the beginning. A simple browser, and Google, had a lot of focus on this browser to try to make it and keep it as simple as possible. And through the years, it added all sorts of things, extensions and so on. And who'd known? In 2008, the dominant browser was Internet Explorer. Yep. Internet Explorer was like, 60% of all the browsers in 2008. Firefox was one of the popular browsers also, but Firefox never really reached much more than about 20-25% of market share over time. So it was a bit, kind of those little beginnings. And at first, it was a Windows-only browser, and it's slowly evolved into, something even more refined and interesting. In version 2, then followed in 2009, and then there were versions and more and more versions. As at the beginning, the versions were pretty much like one or two versions per year. But as time went by, of course, more and more versions, and the version numbers are actually accelerating. And what maybe changed the position of Google Chrome is the fact that it was bundled for a while, often with software we downloaded back then. And, there's the bad reputation of Internet Explorer that's starting to creep up with it. And people and tech guys starting to say, well, you got to use some other browser. Still, in that period of time, Firefox was the number one choice for most. But as we went by, Google Chrome slowly creeped up and slowly showed us that it could be a good browser over time. In the latest versions, what's interesting to see is that they're adding security features now that mean that if you're not on a secure HTTP website, it's not a good idea to be there. It's going to tell you it's unsecure. Of course, material design, which is changing the look and the feel of Chrome, is creeping up also. But over the time, it tried to stay as simple as possible. The browser that everybody always wants to use, and even though it's not always the best choice, it's good enough that for the most part people kept using it, and people don't like change. So once they go to a product or a service or a software, they often stay there for a long time. Of course, they introduced different versions after that. It started with Windows. It had a Mac version, a Linux version, which is Chromium. It is based on an open source software system, so that means the basics of Google Chrome can be used to do other variants of the browser if you want, all using the same basics as Chromium. Of course, it went and is popular on mobile devices also, Android, iOS. It's there and it's dominant. Is it as dominant? Well, on the Android side, it's probably is quite dominant, but on the iOS side, I know a lot of people still use Safari, but it's there and it's everywhere, and they're trying to really, really make a big difference in the browsing. So, with the fact that the browser is more than 60% of all the browsers used around the world, shows that Google has worked really hard and succeeded in making this browser the centerpiece. And Google needed that also, because Google actually kind of looks at what you do. We know Google snoops on us all the time for ads and for all sorts of information, but it does so also through its own browser, Google Chrome. And it's kind of interesting to see how dominant. What's the future? Will there be something that will replace Chrome at some point? Anything is possible. If you look at the fact that Internet Explorer was a dominant player, it was bundled with Windows. That means, you had a browser already, so there were no reasons for most regular folks to upgrade to something else. And Google Chrome did actually and was able to dominate. Well, that's kind of interesting when you look at it. So it's kind of cool, and it's kind of scary, and it's just shows you that I think Google Chrome shows that it's not because you're a dominant player like it is right now that you're necessarily going to be there in 5 or 10 years. Things can change. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.